Welcome to the Process Breakdown Podcast, where we talk about streamlining and scaling operations of your company, getting rid of bottlenecks, and giving your employees all the information they need to be successful at their jobs. Now, let's get started with the show.
Dr. Jeremy Weiss here, host of the Process Breakdown Podcast, where we talk about streamlining and scaling operations of your company, getting rid of bottlenecks, and giving your staff everything they need to be successful at their job. Check out past episodes. Daniel, we had David Allen of Getting Things Done. We had Michael Gerber of the E-Myth and many more. So you could check out past episodes on the podcast. And before I introduce today's guest, Daniel LeBlanc of Amazzia, this episode is brought to you by Sweet Process. If you've had team members ask you the same, Daniel, I'm sure this never happens to you, right? Team members ask you the same questions over and over again, and it's the 10th time you spend explaining it. Well, guess what? There's a better way. There's a solution. Sweet Process is a software that makes it drop dead easy to train and onboard new staff and save time with existing staff. Not only do universities, banks, and hospitals and software companies use them, but I was talking to Owen, one of the founders, and first responder government agencies use them in life or death situations to run their operations. So I was like, that's pretty cool, Owen. You use Sweet Process to document all the repetitive tasks that eat up your time so you can focus on growing your team and empowering them. You could sign up for a free 14-day trial. No credit card is required. You can go to sweetprocess.com, sweet like candy, SWEET process.com. I'm excited. Today we have the Director of Operations at Amazzia, Daniel LeBlanc, and Amazzia helps you achieve your true Amazon potential. And, when I was researching it, Daniel's like, basically they take the heavy lifting off of your team so you could focus on growth. But I'll let you give the most accurate representation. Tell us what Amazzia does and how you service people.
Yeah. So what we do, we work with brands on Amazon specifically right now. We are growing and expanding to, other portals like Walmart and eBay. But right now we do definitely focus on the Amazon brands. And what we do is we want to make sure that the end consumer is getting the right product. That's the most important thing. I know for Amazon is one of their policies. And we take great pride in making sure that, if a seller is not selling the right product, we're doing everything we can to protect our brands. We do marketing, we do distribution. We transfer brands from, Seller front or into Seller Central because Amazon does have some, loopholes that are hard to get through. So we've learned that, just growing brands and being on top of it so that you don't have to and allow you to focus on, the other portions of your retail business.
Daniel, what I want to ask about too is you mentioned, protect. People want to protect their brand. What are some of the issues the clients come to you with?
Yeah. So, we have fraudulent or, counterfeit products that consumers are getting. We want to make sure we go away from that. We trademark expired products, and then just protecting MAP as well. So MAP is the price on Amazon that the brand wants to sell it at. So it matches either their retail markets or their brick and mortar. We want to make sure that we're aligned with that price so that it does keep the integrity of that brand. If you have a luxury item, such as a LAFCO candle or, a high-end hair product, you want to make sure that it keeps that value of that product. So those are the certain things that we protect for our brands.
Walk me through a little bit how it works to work with you. So let's take Main Choice. Main Choice comes to you. They say, we need your help. We don't want to do all this heavy lifting. We want you to help us. How does it work from there?
Yeah. So, we talk to them about what their needs are. What are they really truly looking for? And most of our brands are really looking for the growth, right? They're looking for brand protection. They want to distribute. They want marketing, but all of that wraps up into really growing a brand, right? So for Main Choice, for example, a couple of years ago when I started, almost 3 years ago, actually, when I started, this brand was roughly revenuing with us about $800,000 a year. And we're now over the $2 million mark. And just by doing the marketing and brand protecting and keeping MAP where it needs to be and removing sellers that aren't supposed to be selling that product on Amazon, we've been able to really grow that brand. So when we really go after a brand, we hear all the little things, but what we sell them on really is we want to grow your brand. So whether, obviously they grow it by purchase orders, right? Because we buy the product from them. And then we sell it on Amazon so that we can keep, again, like I said earlier, keep in line with MAP, keeping in line that their brand integrity. So really, the brand comes to us, the sales team talks to them, and then we have a whole onboarding process. So there's a lot of steps. I mean, you would think that you could just be like, I want to sell on Amazon and I put a product on it and it goes, but that's really not the case. I mean, we have a whole team of experts here that know every step of the product. So, that's one of my jobs as the director of operations, is to manage all those. So I have account managers, I have the e-commerce team, I have my warehouse, and then I have my marketing team. So those are all the key things that we need to get in line and tell our brand these are the expectations. And then they kind of just have to give us the trust and give us the autonomy to do what they don't really want to do. No one wants to deal with Amazon. No one wants to talk to Amazon because you really can't talk to anybody. So, but we figured out that kind of secret, if you will. And that's how we, manage our brands.
Daniel, I was looking at your website, and what stuck out to me, and a product that stuck out to me, kind of a unique product, was Zanfill. What's Zanfill? And what do you do with them?
So Zanfill is, a unique product. It is, for, technically it sells as a poison ivy, poison oak relief cream. But you can use it for spider bites. You can use it for mosquito bites, but really anything that itches on your skin, it's a very unique product. And yes, we have our seasonal period, which is coming up around the bend here, where poison oak and poison ivy are growing fluently in the forest and camping areas, if you will. But the great thing about Zanfill is, it's a kind of a mom and pop product that's really just exploded out in the world. And, we increased their sales in the first year 159%. We've removed 95% of their sellers, and we were able to keep compliance with them at 100%. So, it's one of those brands that we love working with. They've been a brand with us for a long time. But they are this mom and pop. So what we've been able to do is they don't have to worry about it. They just let us do our thing. And they love, they're one of my favorite brands to talk to. And they're just really dedicated to their product, because they worked hard to get it out there into the world. So yeah, it's kind of the packaging is kind of interesting when you look on Amazon. It has a picture of this kid who got poison oak, and then in 2 days later he's fine because of this cream. So it's kind of a lifesaver for a lot of people who are into the outdoors and even not really, because poison oak sometimes lives in suburban areas. So
yeah, I mean, talk about a product filling a pain point. I mean, it's like you get that and you're like, I need something to put on it to not itch like crazy. You mentioned removing sellers. Explain that to people for a second. Are there rogue sellers? How are they getting it? And then how are they kind of infiltrating Amazon?
Yeah. So, we want to make sure that our brands have a reseller policy or distribution agreement, if you will. And then what happens is distributors just distribute to distributors who distribute to distributors. So what happens is these sellers that are, down the road, that are not connected directly to the brand, are taking this product and selling it on Amazon, at a lower price, or they're not maintaining the trademark, or they're using pictures that maybe is an expired box or an expired, model of that product. So,
how are they getting it? How are they getting the product typically?
I mean, you can get it from stores. You can, sometimes stuff gets liquidated from, like I said, a distributor who distributed to a distributor.
Yeah.
Down that road. So it's one of those things where sometimes people get it that they don't know they're not supposed to sell it on Amazon. So what we do is we just, we graciously say, hey, you're violating a reseller policy. We just are asking you if you can remove yourself. And then we go on our process. We're not out to do any harm to any businesses or anything, but our goal is to protect the brand. So we're doing it in a, calm and professional and methodical way to make sure that just people understand you just can't sell anything on Amazon especially for violating, trademark, or, if it's counterfeit, or if it's expired product, or it's not meeting the requirements of Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for explaining that. It's really interesting. Some of the products. I mean, it seems like you're the keeper of hair products. When I look at your website, you have Curl Keeper, you have the Main Choice. Do you attract a lot of skin and hair products?
Yeah, I mean, we have outdoor products, we have hair, skin, nail health products,
Right.
And then we have some automotive, accessories. Our business kind of started with the health and beauty, and we've been able to expand out. So that's why we typically, on our roster, we do have some hair and beauty, and that's just from trade shows. There's a lot more health and beauty trade shows than there are other things. And we go to trade shows, and we're kind of well known because if you notice behind me, this purple, it's a strong purple. And our team, when we're at trade shows, we're wearing the purple. We're wearing the purple Converse. We're wearing the purple jackets. Yeah. We're wearing the purple shirts. So we really stand out, and people, remember who we are, and we're a fun group of people to work with and work around. So,
do you have favorite trade shows? What are your favorite health and beauty ones?
I mean, Cosmoprof is incredible. CES is like electronics it's crazy how large it is. And then I've been to SHOT Show, which, it's a gun and
where is that?
Yeah, that was in Vegas.
Oh, got it.
Vegas. Yeah. It was interesting.
Does your purple jacket
maybe not
really
my
stick
cup
out
of tea, but there are brands, and I respect that they we're not selling guns, so it's what we're helping that industry, and it is a big industry. So I support the businesses that they do out there, but there's just so many different types of things there. It's crazy to see.
A lot of cool shows just to get ideas, and it's interesting because you can grab ideas from other industries and use them for the industry that you serve.
Sure.
So I mean, I find that innovation comes from outside industry. So people are like, oh, why would you go to the SHOT Show if you don't deal with those? Well, you may get an idea and use that into one of these brands that you serve.
Exactly.
And I'd love to talk about culture. Right. And one of the things I have written down is to talk about accountability, autonomy, and how to communicate in positive ways. Talk about the culture and around, I don't know if there's any specific stories around COVID and how you had to deal with the whole staff and the team around COVID.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting year. I'm sure it is for a lot of people, but for us, our culture was kind of cultivated from everybody kind of working around each other and being around each other for, every day, if you will. So, we are doing a scaling up. So we have scaling up coach that's helping us grow to, a larger size organization than we were a couple of years ago. And that's really helping. But I feel like I've adopted some of the culture things that I've learned from my other past jobs. And it's important to have staff engagement. It's important to have the company relate to your staff, that they're important. It's not just about, sitting at a desk and doing the work. It's also, sometimes you are around each other more than you are your own family. So you gotta, it's a good mix to have. And, during this COVID situation, we've really pushed we keep our monthly lunches with management, where it's like a forum where you ask questions. We are keeping our monthly culture activity, whether it be paint, virtual paints. We've done that a couple times.
Yeah. Walk me through a few of the things, Daniel. So like, what are some of the things in your process, like you said, to build culture? Because obviously you have this built into the way you operate, right? So one thing is you do monthly lunches. And then how does that work? And then what else do you have planned out? You mentioned the virtual painting. I don't know if it's monthly, you do a different activity, or walk me through some of the things.
Yeah. So the lunches, we schedule a time with one of the executives. You can either prep your questions before, or you ask directly when you're sitting at lunch. Normally when we were here in the office, we would go out to lunch and, sit and chat. And it's less work related, but it's still work focused topics. It's not like, oh, are you working on this job? Are you working on this project? It's more like, hey, what can we do as a company to do better for our employees, sort of thing.
Is it a group or is it one-on-one?
No, it's a group. So it's a group of select, 3 to 5, whoever volunteers. And then we obviously, choose who the 3 to 5 are, because we don't want all the same people from the same department or whatever. So we try to get a good mix of staff that are mixing, with the executive team. Then we have our paint nights. We have, pumpkin carving. We have crazy sweaters, or, whatever we've done. And then we've done trivia nights. This new thing, I'm kind of dating myself, but this Among Us is this big game that's really popular right now. And we've done that a couple of times, and people are just, they're kind of, there's been a good amount of hiring since COVID that we've had. So there's been a lot of new people, and that sometimes is hard when you're working remotely, but I've learned that there's these, new friend groups that are involved with all these different departments. And that just kind of brings joy to me.
That's cool. Yeah.
That people are bonding over certain things that Amazzia has presented for them. So it's great.
So is that on a certain frequency as far as game nights and trivia and paint, or?
Minimally once a month.
Once a month. Okay.
Lately, we've been doing it like twice a month. Yeah.
So Among Us, that's an actual game? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. It's like these little creatures with like these goggles, and you have to like go through a map and do these tasks before the what's it called? The imposter. The imposter can kill all the little other creatures. But if you complete the task, then the imposter loses. But if the imposter doesn't get found, then the imposter wins. So it's all virtual, and you're all working together.
You're all working together. It's kind of like an escape room online or something like.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, I love that. Here's the thing. Anyone listening, they're always looking for great ideas of what they can instill in their company to communicate better, to have better culture. So I love even getting that granular with try Among Us, or try an escape room, or try trivia night, or try, paint night. It's all things that will just spark someone to do something cool. Because what this is about, is you sharing your knowledge and people taking action. Even if it's one thing they get from this, it'll be worth listening to this. So what are some other things? I love the monthly lunches, and what else that you do internally that other people would learn from?
So the biggest thing that we do, that I myself am responsible for creating the entire meeting, along with my senior account manager Ari. Her and I work hand in hand, and we create our quarterly meetings. So what our quarterly meetings are, they're called T3s. Together towards tomorrow, so 3 T's. And so what we do is we review the last quarter, and then we start the new quarter with our new rocks, our new KPIs, our new initiatives. So that is in itself a project, but this is one of the things that I love to do, because what we do is we integrate our slides. So we have our, agenda, the normal things, agenda, what we're going to do, here are our goals and whatnot. But in that we play Kahoot, and it's a game that actually was adopted from like teachers. And what we do is we integrate trivia questions or surveys or polls in between, somebody presenting, or if there's a long presentation, we take a break and we do that. And then the other 2 things we do, or one thing, on our breaks, we do virtual scavenger hunts. And it's like the funniest thing on the planet, because they're so competitive to run and find, 5 or 6 its, and it's their break time. So they would rather find these items and go, get a water, or, take a break. So it's been really fun to see. And we give gift cards for who collects, who sends a picture. We make it interesting, because it's like, you've got to take a picture. You have to take a selfie with all the items in your hand, or you have to take a picture with a plant or your partner or your pet. So it makes it a little bit just silly and interactive. And it's really the last 3 or 4 since we've been at COVID is obviously have to been on Zoom. Normally we rent a space and we do it and we play games and stuff, but it's been really interesting, and we feel like we were going to adopt it and keep it on Zoom, because we have the ability to
so much easier.
Quizzes and be a lot more interactive. Yeah.
I got so excited. Like my pen flew out of my hand and hit the computer. If you heard that bump. No, it's interesting because my wife with her company, she just did a Kahoot and she had people send in like baby pictures and like people had to guess which one the baby picture was. And you get to know your colleagues in a much deeper way. And it was funny. Like people, she had people submit baby pictures and then she had people submit like just like who's the most famous person you ever met. And then you had to guess who was who. Right. And just like, and then they tell the story of like, oh my God, I didn't know you met, Bruce Springsteen or whatever, so it's really interesting. So I love those things and tools.
Thank you for those ideas. I'm writing those down.
Yeah. It's like Kahoot is pretty cool from what she said.
Really cool. It's a really cool application for sure.
Yeah. And so what else, getting to know each other, culture is really, really key. From the appreciation stand, it seems like, you are always, and your team is always appreciating each other. What are some ways that you appreciate staff outside of money, right? Because we all, I think I was talking to another guest and they were saying that's like fifth on the list of how people like to be appreciated is money. And there's other things. What are some ways you infuse that appreciation into the culture and the staff?
Yeah. And this, I'm not creating this. I did not invent this because I obviously didn't invent the English language, but there's only the two words and it's thank you. But it's also how you use those two words. Right. And the way that I use them is consistently doing one-on-ones with my direct reports. And then I make sure my direct reports have one-on-ones monthly with their staff. And it's just to review what they want out of their career. What do they want out of Amazzia? What do they want to do with their life? And I've learned to, everybody is different. We know that. That is, again, it's not rocket science. Everybody's different. Everybody's motivated by different things. Yeah. And those motivations change. So if I talk to, my e-commerce manager and she wants to buy a house. Well, now she already has a house. So now I got to find out what's her next step. I can't continue to motivate her on her getting her house. So it's one of those things where you have to be alert to your people. You have to be aware of what they're doing. And then, with the clear expectations as a manager that I set out, when they've hit it, you just say, thank you. Great job. Way to go. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the lead on that. But it has to be sincere. It can't just be words that you're saying, or it shouldn't really be in a Slack message or, a Asana task that you're noting. When you're having these one-on-ones with them, really express to them, like, I can't do my job without you. Like, everybody's replaceable. That's a given. But sometimes I can't do my job without my team. And I tell them that all the time because I'm busy on the bigger things. I'm trying to work on growing the business and, being aligned with my executive team, and they're doing the work. So I have to make sure that they know that I'm 100% appreciative of everything that they do.
Yeah, I love that. And it sounds like you kind of sit down and you talk to each person and you say, what are, kind of goals you want to achieve in the company? And not only that, but what are the goals you want to achieve in your life? Because that all integrates into what they're doing for the business.
100%.
Yeah. You mentioned Asana. I would love, and you're an operations person, so I don't know. I love to hear about this stuff. So hopefully you geek out on it too, Daniel, but software. I love to hear the software you like that you use internally or in general. Because I know when you do these quarterlies, my mind goes to wondering the granular, finite details of where are they writing this stuff down? Where are they recording it? So they log for the next rocks in the KPI so it doesn't get lost. So what other software do you like to use as a company and internally?
Yeah, so Asana is great. I mean, you build a project every year for our 2021. We have a project. It starts with key initiatives. Those key initiatives are the year goals. And then those roll down to quarter rocks. Those are rocks mostly designed for the executive team to focus on. And then each individual department will have KPIs. So KPIs need to roll up to rocks, which need to roll up into KPI or into key initiative, And having that focus and having the the wherewithal every other week. We do a follow-up on, hey, are you on track? Are you not on track? But even when we're not in the meeting, people update their tasks so you can see, oh, they completed it. Awesome. That's great. I'm not in partner development, or partner development doesn't report to me, but I can still look at their tasks and say, oh, wow, they're really killing their rocks this quarter. That's exciting. That's going to roll down. That's going to roll into operations. So I got to prepare my team because there's going to be more sales coming down the road. So Asana's great. I didn't have Asana before coming here. There was other tasks, task tools that I use, but I am a time management, organized, like total nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Tell me. Yeah. What do you use?
Just when I saw Asana and I was learning, I was like, where has this been on my life? It gives you deadlines. It gives you the ability to follow up on a task that you've assigned, like all these things that are just integrated into Asana. Yeah. And, we're still learning it. There's probably things that we don't use that we could use. It's a great tool to have because there's so many things that can go into it. You have the projects, you have the calendars, you have the boards, you have, just all these things that just, if you want to be organized, it's helpful. Yeah. Somebody who maybe isn't organized, it probably will take them,
it'll keep them organized. Yeah.
But, yeah.
What else? So you like Asana? What other tools, software do you like?
So we use Slack for our instant message. We didn't use it as much when we were not in COVID, but now it's kind of like the communication tool. We try to not adapt into the drive-bys, but it's just a tool that you can use, like, hey, I have a question for you, let me know when you get a chance, versus having to get up and go, stand by somebody's cubicle and tap your finger and be like, hey, I have a question for you. So we use that. But other than that, those are our two main. We use Google Suite for a lot of things. Forums and it's a better integration than Office Suite. Yeah. Office is great, but Google has surpassed them, I think. Other than that, we try to keep it simple. We have Outlook for our emails, but we focus everything on Slack and Asana. So even if it's in Outlook, you still got to use Asana because that's the main tool. And we use HubSpot for sales and the account management team. But we try to keep it simple. So that we're not using 100 different types of software.
Daniel, I have one last question for you. Before I ask it, I want to point people, check out more episodes of the podcast, Process Breakdown, check out Sweet Process, and check out Amazzia. It's Amazzia. You can't miss it. Purple banner. Check it out. They have some amazing case studies. You can go to their page there, amazzia.com/clients. Daniel, my question is, we talk about culture and accountability and communicating with the staff. And I love some of the things that you shared. One thing I'm wondering about is your favorite story from a staff able to achieve one of their goals. And it could be a personal goal. It could be a professional goal. You don't have to name the person or anything, but what's one of your favorite stories from someone setting out and achieving one of the goals that they had?
Yeah. So I was new to e-commerce when I started here. I have an operational background, and the owners, wanted somebody like that. So, but I'm a quick learner, so I was able to really learn e-commerce quickly, but it's still a beast. Amazon is a beast. E-commerce is a nightmare. It's a lot of work, and I love hard work. But sometimes you need to find the right people to help you along your way. Right. And even if they're lower, they're either entry-level staff or whoever, like I find the right people, in my position. So, I have this e-commerce manager. Her name is Cindy. She's the one I was referring to earlier, who just purchased her first home. So it's really awesome. But, she's been here a long time, and, I came in and disrupted the process, if you will, and it was bumpy for the two of us for a little bit. But I stuck to my guns because I was like, she knows this world. She knows everything. Everybody relies on Cindy. She's a rock star. And then, a few months down the road, she ends up, I end up taking on the e-commerce team, and her and I have to work, almost actually every day together. And the relationship that her and I have built professionally has not only grown me on my knowledge on e-commerce, but it's really, I think, allowed her to step into her own light. And she's now a manager. She was just a lead before, and now she's a manager and highly respected in our business. And I just love working with her. I love how accountable she can be. I love how she treats her staff. I mean, we're very aligned on how staff needs to be treated, and the expectations and accountability need to be done. And again, like I was telling you earlier, I cannot do my job without her. Like she's just incredible. I love working with her. I know most of the staff loves working with her. And the fact that I didn't know she was buying a house. I mean, I knew that she wanted one. And that was one of her goals. And then, surprise, surprise, she says, I have to leave early today because I got to go sign my escrow papers. She's a private person, but she asked me if she could leave early. And I was like, of course. I'm like, that's awesome. You're getting a house. And now she has a house. And she's, like I said, she's just a joy to work with. She means business. And, I'm just happy that I get to work with somebody like that, a caliber every day.
Daniel, I want to be the first one to thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone check out Amazzia.com. Check out more episodes of the podcast. And we'll see you on the flip side.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Process Breakdown Podcast. Before you go, quick question. Do you want a tool that makes it easy to document processes, procedures, and/or policies for your company so that your employees have all the information they need to be successful at their job? If yes, sign up for a free 14-day trial of Sweet Process. No credit card is required to sign up. Go to sweetprocess.com, sweet like candy, and process like process.com. Go now to sweetprocess.com and sign up for your risk-free 14-day trial.
Hi, this is Owen, the CEO and co-founder here at Sweet Process. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast interview, actually, you know what I want you to do? Go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. That way we get more people aware of the good stuff that you get here on this podcast. Again, go on to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. Looking forward to reading your review. Have a good day.